As we observe Juneteenth, the federal holiday commemorating the day 2.5 years after the Emancipation Proclamation, when word of the end of slavery finally reached Galveston, Texas, we are reminded that the justice and mercy story of the gospel is incarnated through our individual stories, and then woven together into a communal story of God working in and through a particular people in a particular time. We are blessed, as the Presbytery of Philadelphia, to have minister members among us with rich life stories to share as legacies of leadership in our midst. And this is one of them. Reverend Ethelyn Taylor recently retired after serving 30 years as the pastor of Oxford Presbyterian Church. This was after a 25-year career as an educator. What you're about to hear is her call story to pursue her vocation as minister of word and sacrament, as shared with me and Reverend Brenton Thompson. I would invite you to check out the longer version of her life's journey by clicking the link at the end of this video. May you find yourself as inspired as we were by how God fashioned hers into a life of gospel witness for such a time and place as ours.
In my 25th year of going into teaching, I'm sitting, I never worked during the summer. I always, was involved in reefs and, or at some church working with kids. And I'm sitting on the porch and I'm reading, and it suddenly dawned on me that you're going to be retiring one day. What are you going to do for the rest of your life? And at that time, you could retire with 35 years of teaching experience with full pension. But then they lowered it to 30 years because they had an overabundance of teachers. So I said, well, this is my 25th year. Maybe I can stick it out to 30 years, And I kept wondering, what can I do? That's all I know how to do is to teach. And I've received many awards for teaching, And I remember looking up towards the sky, and I said out loud, Lord, whatever it is you want me to do for the rest of my life, I will be obedient to that calling. Just don't put me in a wheelchair or have something to happen to my hands. Because I was organist, At that time, I taught at Penn, and that's another story. I've never had less than 2 jobs, never. And I kept wondering all summer long, what could God want me to do that He has not already gifted me with? And I just kept wrestling with this. And it's that 30-some years ago, it's just as clear to me today. As I tell people, God didn't call me on the telephone, nor did He blind me on the road to Damascus. But just in saying my prayer that particular night, the Spirit spoke to me loud and clear. I want you to continue that journey that I have gifted you with. But you must be theologically prepared. And I thought, Lord, I'm not going to any more. And I got up laughing. I said, undergraduate school with 2 children, graduate school with 4 children. I'm not going to any more school. I'm not doing any more reading. And I just went on and said to the Lord what I wasn't going to do. I finally made an appointment with the dean at the seminary, Eastern Seminary. And he said to me, and I knew what seminary was about. After he heard me, tell my end of the story, he said, well, young lady, why haven't you been here before now? I said, the only reason I'm here now is because I don't want God to zap me, Until I went to near the end of my 25th year, in that March of that year, I went to my principal and I said, I'm not coming back in September. And he said, well, where are you going? I said, I have a higher calling than the one I have now. Mm-hmm. And he said, I'm not going to let you go. He said, because you're the best teacher that I have here. I said, that's not true. I said, you just need to get around and look at the different classrooms a little more, He said, and he was his father was a Baptist pastor, and I knew he was a Christian and taught Sunday school and he said, I would never hold you back. He said, I'm only teasing you. He said, but I sure hate to lose you. And I never, ever looked back.